Just what is it that worries Americans about their own personal financial situation? We often talk about consumer confidence when we want to get into aspects of the economy. What I want to point out today is there is a big difference when we talk about consumer confidence in Americans' perceptions of the economy nationwide and their perceptions of how they're doing personally. First, rate the U.S. economy. Less than half of Americans willing to say that it is excellent or good. However, when we ask Americans to rate your own personal financial situation, using the same scale, we're up to well over half of Americans who say, well, that's excellent or good. In other words, Americans are more positive about their own situation than the economy in general. This difference is even greater when we look at our optimism question. In general, would you say the U.S. economy is getting better or getting worse? Look at those numbers. 60% in our latest survey say the U.S. economy getting worse. Then we say, what about your own personal financial situation? At home, your family, is it getting better or worse? A total reversal here. We now have over half of Americans who say, hey, my situation is in fact getting better. Look at the disparity there. 29% of Americans say the U.S. economy is getting better. 51% say their own personal financial situation is in fact getting better. Now, diving into the data a little more specifically, we ask Americans, what is it that bothers you about your own personal financial situation? And in fact, over 8 out of 10 Americans quickly can tell our Gallup interviewer something they're worried about. But there is no one dominant concern. Look at the top 5 here. Healthcare costs, number 1, but that's only 16% of Americans. Then basic lack of money, then college expenses, then the cost of owning or renting a home, and then basically having too much debt or not enough money tied with concerns about energy prices. And along those lines, it's always interesting to note that upper income Americans with $75,000 a year or higher incomes are less concerned about day-to-day financial problems like having enough money to pay the mortgage. What are they worried about? College costs and retirement. Tomorrow on the Daily Briefing, the results of a brand new Gallup poll. I'm Dr. Frank Newport, editor-in-chief of the Gallup poll with Democracy on Demand. Take the Daily Briefing with you. Search for Gallup at the iTunes Music Store.